Congrats, you won a job last week. Your crew went out. They did a good job. The client was pumped, but do you actually know if you made money on it? I'm not asking, did the customer pay the bill? Did the invoice get paid? I'm asking, did that add to your company's net profit, or did it slowly and quietly eat at it? Most contractors I work with honestly can't answer that question. They're pricing by gut feel. They're matching the dude down what the street charges, or adding a number on top of their costs and just hoping that it works out. And they're wrong. On average, by 30+%. That's a big deal. And that's what we're going to get into today. The actual formula for knowing what to charge so every job that you take on is worth taking. My name is Derek. I'm the founder of Home Coach. We help home service business owners build profitable businesses that can be run by their team. I've personally done nearly 10,000 one-on-one coaching calls with home service business owners all around the world, and pricing is a huge problem I run into, honestly, across almost every business that I look at. And if you want to understand your numbers and build a business that actually pays you what it should so you can make what you want, subscribe to the channel or else. Let's go. So here's what we're covering. We're going to cover the 3 ways that most contractors price and why all 3 of those are quietly losing money. Like they're losing money probably without even realizing it. Number 1 is the formula for calculating your true hourly rate. This is so you know exactly what to charge before you ever send an estimate for any type of job. Number 2 is how to run a service audit to find out which of your services are actually making you money, because I can almost guarantee that you have products or services that are losing you money without you even knowing it, or just not making as much as you could or should. And number 3 is how to raise your prices without losing clients. Let's get into it. Most home service business owners are pricing one of 3 ways. The first is just matching the competitor. You find out what the other company in town is charging and you price around that, sometimes just a little bit lower so that you get the job. But you're basing your price on a stranger's business. You have no idea what their overhead looks like. You have no idea how many trucks he's running, what he pays his crew, and most importantly, you have no idea if he's actually even profitable. He might be bleeding money every single month and not even know it, or not know it yet. And I can tell you from having optics inside hundreds of home service businesses that he probably is not profitable. His numbers tell you nothing about your business. The second is cost plus hope. It's just you add up what you think a job costs, and then you tack on a margin, a markup that feels reasonable, and then you send the estimate. And the problem with that is it's almost always wrong. Like most owners forget to include a bunch of other stuff, their actual labor burden, the COGS, the OPEX, whatever is tied to that, and their time managing the job. So you're putting a percentage on top of a number that's already too low, and margin or markup on top of a wrong number is still probably going to be the wrong number for you. Let me quickly show you what I mean by this. Let's look at what most people do, right? You have a $10,000 job and you're going to mark it up 30%. So it's basically just plus $3,000, because $3,000 is 30% of 10,000. That's going to get you 13,000, right? And really what you need to do, the actual math, because this is a markup. This is not your margin. That's just a markup. What you need to do is you take that $10,000 job and you want that $10,000 job to be 70% of the job, so that the extra 30% of revenue you claim on top of that is profit, is your margin. So what you actually do is you take 10,000 and you divide that by the difference. If you want a 30% margin, you're going to divide that. I'll do an old school division. You're going to divide that by 0.7. Apply your calculator, do the math. Is it 13,000? It's not 13,000. It's going to be 14,286. That is your margin. And a lot of people are doing it the top way. They're doing it wrong. So take, just as an example, let's take 3,000, right? We're taking this one right here. 3,000 divided by 13,000 is what? Is that 30% like you thought it was? Nope. 23.1%. You messed up. You blew 7% profit because you didn't price the job right. Now take this profit here. What is 4,286 divided by 14,286? You guessed it, 30%. You wanted a 30% margin, so do it right the first time. Because when you add a percentage to your costs, you're calculating off of a smaller number. When you divide, you're protecting the percentage. You're projecting a percentage of the bigger number, the full price of the job. If you take nothing else, if you stop the video right now, do this better. Now, the third is gut feel. I mean, you've been doing this long enough that you can eyeball a property, you can throw out a price, you win jobs, like your trucks are busy, so it's gotta be working, right? Like, oh, I'm doing a great job here. Except when you sit down and look at the actual numbers at the end of the year, you're wondering where all the money went. Busy and profitable are absolutely not the same thing. And I've sat across from owners doing between $1.5 million in revenue, and they're taking home personally $60,000 a year. Their crew's always working though. The trucks are always out. But he was essentially paying himself nothing. Like, dude could have gone out and gotten a job at In-N-Out and probably made as much with a tiny fraction of the stress that he carried in his business. One single underpriced job, like, that's stupid. That sucks. It's annoying. But 100 underpriced jobs over a entire season is the difference between building a real business and just grinding yourself further into the ground. And most owners I talk to think that more is the answer. Like, I just got to get more jobs, right? I got to do more bids. I got to do more leads. I got to hustle hard. I got to do more. But if your pricing's off, more jobs just means more losses. You're just losing faster. The fix is knowing exactly what each job is worth before you agree to do it. And how we're going to do that is with the true hourly rate calculator. It's a simple tool, but this is the number that you need to charge per man hour to cover all of your cost, to hit your target profit margin you want. And once you know this number, pricing gets a lot more straightforward, honestly. It's like you stop guessing and you start just doing math, like making data-driven decisions and bidding appropriately. So here's how you build it. Let's walk through it right here. So this is the sheet. And as we walk through it, it's got some explanations under each of the areas. All you need to do is fill in the white cells, right? See here where it says, don't edit gray cells, don't edit the gray cells. Let's just quickly move here and say that this business, they did $672,000 in total expenses. That's everything, right? That's their payroll, wages, vehicles, rent, marketing, literally everything it costs to run the business. Now we're going to go down and look at the total available work hours, billable staff hours. They had 6 guys, and those 6 guys are running. If you're running full-time, it's about 2,000 hours a year. So I'm just going to say 2,000. You can say 2,080 if it's, full-time with no vacations, but 2,000 is pretty close with 2 weeks off. That's going to give you 12,000 total billable hours, meaning if your business ran from the second the dudes clocked in to the second they clocked out, and they did revenue producing activities that entire time, you could bill potentially a maximum of 12,000 hours. Now we're going to adjust this for realistic billable hours because nobody is working all of the hours. There's drive time, there's setup, there's tear down, there's things associated with the job that don't actually generate revenue. So you can use whatever you want here. Some people can get their efficiency pretty high, 70, 80. I think 55 is a safe bet here. So just plug in the percentage you want. So 12,000 billable hours times 55% is going to give you 6,600 adjusted billable hours, right? And what that tells us now is based on our previous expenses, and you can do the previous expenses off of whatever period you want. Let's just say you did it over a previous year, you did it over a previous quarter. Sometimes your business is so big and fluctuates so much with labor, you want to do it by month. And you can run this often to get close to this number. But for this example, that means that based on the total expenses, based on our actual adjusted billable hours that we had, based on this step 3 here, our hourly break even is $101.82. So if we're not charging $102 per hour, per man hour, we're probably losing money. That sucks. So let's take our target profit margin. What do you want to make on this job? Let's just say that this person wants to make, let's just say they want to make, 20%. So let's look at the target profit margin. Let's say that this company wants to make 20% profit margin overall, right? So if their break even's 102-ish at a 20% profit margin, which what you do is you just take 100 minus 20%, that gives you 80%. So 102 divided by 80% gives you $127.27. So we're going to round that up, $128 that this business needs to charge per man hour to ensure that they are hitting their target profit margin for the year. If you want this tool, grab it in the description. It is free $199. Go get it. There's no cost. He was charging $65 an hour, and his actual cost for the materials, his overhead, and honestly a modest profit margin was $88 an hour. And so he'd been underpricing himself for at least a decade, and not by a little. That is a huge chunk. Like every single job that he was doing was quietly running at a loss. And he had no idea. He's like, oh, I'm just super busy. Life is good, right? So once you know your true hourly rate, the next step is running every service that you offer through it. Pull your top services, price them against your actual true hourly rate that you now know, and you'll find out really fast which ones are actually making money and which ones are costing you money. And if you don't know this, if you're like, oh, I don't have this data, there are great tools out there that do this. I love Jobber. A lot of my clients use Jobber, but you can just get scrappy. Take your total service revenue of that service. Let's say you made $100,000 in that service. Divide that by the number of man hours that it took you to produce that service, and that is your hourly rate by service. And you always want to look at big data sets, not just like, oh, this last job took me this because the job before might have taken triple the time. So get whatever information you have. If you have to be scrappy, take some liberties, but get the data. Because most owners who go through this, they're honestly surprised. Like the service they've been selling for years, the one that they think is their bread and butter, like, oh, that is the one we do. That's the one we're best at. We make the most. I mean, honestly, it's often the one with the thinnest margin. And sometimes it's breaking even, sometimes it's working at a loss, but you don't know until you know and you do the math. I worked with a client who had a super strong maintenance business. He did lawn maintenance and he did landscaping installations on the side. Super steady recurring revenue, really good numbers, great client relationships. They love him. Great reviews, very proud of his maintenance contracts. And we ran this audit together. And we went really deep on this service audit. And what we found was about 70% of those contracts were priced below his true hourly rate. He had locked in those prices years ago and just never even adjusted them. And his most time-intensive service that he loved was running at a loss, while his install jobs that were actually profitable were covering all the losses of these maintenance jobs. Like Gordon Ramsay says it best, like a little bit of sauce covers a lot of mess, and there was a lot of mess in there, and that install sauce was covering it all. So most businesses that we look at, they're losing money on some of their products or services without even knowing it. And what I tell owners in this situation is you might need to fire some of your revenue. Because if a service or a contract is priced below your cost floor and your true hourly rate, you're not keeping that client anymore. Like we're raising that because you're actively subsidizing that client service, right? You're potentially paying them to provide them a service, which is so stupid. And if a job type is losing money, like doing more of that job just doesn't even fix the problem. It just makes it way worse and it makes you go out of business faster. So raise your prices to the appropriate level that you now know from your hourly rate calculator, or shut that down and cancel that client. And then when we get to this point, the place that most owners get stuck is the conversation about raising prices. Like, I've had these same clients for years. They're great. I have great relationships with them. I don't want to rock the boat. Like, they've been so good to me, and I get it. But staying at the wrong price is not loyalty. Like, that is slowly bleeding yourself to death because you like someone. So here's a simple reframe that I want to go through. Like if you raise your prices and you lose 20% of your clients, but your margin goes up from 30 to 40%, like you're working less and you're making more. Let's do some quick math. I'll show you what I mean here. So if you have 10,000, or not 10,000, you have 10,000 clients. Hope you have 10,000 clients. Let's just say you have 10 clients and you're operating at a 30% profit margin. And let's just say that means $300 in profit per job, right? 10 times 300, you're making $3,000. Good for you. Love that for you. But you raise your prices. Ooh, you raise your prices. 2 clients cancel. It's the end of the world. No, can you believe the audacity? And now you're at a 40% margin, right? You increase 10% from 30 to 40%, but you got 2 less clients. Oh man, that sucks, doesn't it? But you're making $420 per job now. And what that tells you is in that same, actually in less amount of time, you're doing 20% less work, you're making more money. You're making $3,360. You lost 20% of your volume, but your profits increased 10% to 40%. That's awesome. Why not do less work and make more money? That is absolutely what you should be doing. If your margin increases to 40%, you could lose 28% of your clients and you could still break even at that increase. So you improved your business by losing revenue and firing customers potentially. Like that is a pretty solid trade. Your client's worth keeping. They're going to accept a reasonable price increase, like especially when you've been doing quality work. And you don't lead with the price, like you lead with the value, right? It's like, hey, Carol, we've been taking care of your property for 3 years. We've got a new crew. We've invested in even better equipment so we can keep doing this service at the level that you expect. Starting next season, our pricing is adjusting by X% or X dollars. It's a normal business conversation. I get an email every year from my pest company, from my HVAC company, from my lawn maintenance company, all saying the same thing, like, hey, your price went from $65.97 to $72.43. It doesn't even matter. It's such a great service. They do such a great job. I never even question it. Your good clients are going to understand it. And the ones that don't, honestly, they're not your best clients to begin with anyways. So you should do this annually during your slow season before it gets busy. That's when you raise your prices when things are slow. And then for new clients, stop competing on price. Like, you don't want the client who hired you because you're $50 cheaper than the next guy, because that same client is going to leave the moment that somebody else comes along that's $50 cheaper than you. Price for the margin you need, which you now know because you understand your true hourly rate, and attract those clients who care about the quality of the work, not just the number at the bottom of the estimate. A couple other things I hesitate to go too deep on, but just worth noting: seasonal pricing, recurring contracts, and one-off jobs are structured differently. And you should be building your annual price adjustment language into every contract you sign. Make sure that your contracts have the clause that say prices adjust with labor and material costs each year. And if you don't have that in your current contracts, like, add it at renewal. And keep eyes on your labor costs. Goodness gracious. Like, when things shift in the economy, labor prices can skyrocket. If you're not watching your labor costs pretty closely, you could be just bleeding without even knowing it, because you ran the numbers previously and it was good. My materials cost this, but now your materials cost this. Don't even know it. You're toast. And a ninja tip here: look at your profitability by crew, not just by each individual service, because two crews running the same job at the same price don't always produce the same margin. One might run slower, one has more callbacks. Knowing which of these jobs are profitable after accounting for the specific crew running them tells you something that a service level analysis won't. So I digress. Let's talk about the owner that found out he'd been underpricing for 12 years, right? Like, we didn't overhaul everything overnight. We built a plan, we identified the worst offenders, and we sent them price increases, which for some of them were pretty massive price increases because they hadn't had the price increase for 15 years. Like, we raised the maintenance prices in phases for the rest of the existing clients. And guess what? We lost some, but we replaced them with better ones. And he didn't lose a lot. He lost a tiny fraction of what he expected. He thought the whole business was going to burn down, but it doesn't. So we changed the pricing on all of the new work right away. Like, any new business came in at or above that new rate that we had identified. So within 8 months, he was running the same number of jobs, but at significantly better margins. He actually was doing quite a bit more work, but his take home went up by, I think, like 50 grand. And this was not a big business. That is a huge deal. That was a life-changing number for this business owner. And he told me he felt stupid for not doing it sooner. And my response was, dude, you didn't have the tool before, but now he does. Now he knows better. Like, he was underpriced because he didn't know. He didn't have a number to check against, and he didn't know better. And the true hourly rate gives you that number. So everything above it's great. Everything below it's not ideal. If you're way below it, that's bad. And there's nothing more to guess. Like, data is better than emotion in this instance. And if you want to run your own numbers and build out your pricing from scratch and go way deeper than this is just a scratching the surface, I have a great workshop called the Profit Path Workshop. And in that workshop, I'll walk you through calculating your true hourly rate, running a service audit on your business, understanding your seasonality, exactly what you need to do in quantity of each individual service you offer in each month, week of the year, and build it out so you know what you need to do on Monday morning to hit your annual profit goal for the entire year. You get that level of clarity. I've done thousands of these, and I've had one person ever who had the data that they uncovered in this before they did it with me. It's very rare. It's $47. If it does not change your business, I'll refund you. No questions asked. Like, the link's in the description. Go check it out. And I also built the true hourly rate calculator that we went through here. You can grab it for free. Like, just plug in your numbers and let it do the math for you. The link is in the description. Check it out. And if you want to sit down and go through your specific business together, book a free strategy call. Like, we love to dive into businesses. That's what we do. The link's in the description. We'll just look at your numbers and we'll tell you exactly where the gap is. We'll help you with your Profit Path workshop, with your true hourly rate calculator, whatever we can support you with. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Grab those tools. See you in the next one. Love you. Bye.